do for enterprise and for jobs what Mary McAleese has done for the peace process. The last 15 years have been about me, about I, and about myself. We became individualistic. But we need to revert back to who we are as a people, and at our core is community. And I think art can play, and culture can play a major part in that. Ireland has a great future, and it will be built on innovation and creativity. And that creative mindset starts with young people at an early age.
The success and international acclaim of our Irish writers, the sheer volume of column inches in the global press devoted to Irish stage productions, these all have ensured that we have a sound platform for renewing pride at home and respect abroad. Critically important that we fund the arts to its maximum, and if we can't get it through government sources, then we should look at philanthropy, and as President I would be delighted to support and search for philanthropic donations towards the arts.
When I became Lord Mayor of Dublin, I said, look, I've got 1 year here, what am I going to do? A literature prize for Dublin, to promote Dublin and Ireland because of our history. And now in its 10th year, the Impact International Literary Award is the richest award of a single work of art in the world. Arts has been part of my life. When I had a chance to do anything about it, I scored very heavily by bringing along that prize, finding a sponsor for that prize, being the first chairman of the implementing committee for that prize, and as President, I will seek to do the same.
A radical inclusive citizenship in a creative society. And by that I do not mean just only in the aesthetic element. I am a practitioner myself, but also be creative in everything we do, recombining science with art, looking at how we do our diplomacy, our international trade, all aspects of our life. It is important that the discourse be adequate, that it not be evasive. As President, I want to make sure that the debate is inclusive in the sense that it speaks about the creativity of every child. You then talk about the public space. Is culture and cultural provision something peripheral to be provided for at a time of surplus, or is it basic and central as part of our citizenship and our inclusion? I believe it is.
Well, I very much enjoy the writings of Sebastian Barry and got a copy of his most recent one that came inside, but haven't much time at the moment to read that.
My favourite painting is by somebody nobody will ever heard of. I went about 15, 16 years ago, and this quiet, contemplative monk was painting, and after my couple of days, he came to me with a gift. It had that sort of raw, rural view, and it brings me back to the fact that sometimes art is a little bit like wine. It doesn't have to be expensive to be enjoyed.
In the Chester Beatty library, there are fragments of the Gospel dating back to the 4th century, and it is the most fascinating piece of art I think I've ever seen.
I listened to Johnny Cash. I think the later Johnny Cash is just wonderful. And one of my favourites, but it's not from the later period, is The Beast in Me.
We need to focus on two things. I think one is about community-based activities, even driven by local people, and also then the idea of sowing these seeds at a very young age in our children so that it becomes acceptable and part of who we are.
Well, I think I will speak a lot about the arts. I think I will encourage people to go there. I will visit as much as I can. I don't think I would go every Sunday night, to be perfectly honest with you. But I would regularly go, and I would regularly visit, and I would regularly encourage. Around the country I would visit as much as possible, plays and music and any other cultural events that I could involve myself in.
Artists, for example, are still going to welfare offices and been asked, what is your real job? The fact of the matter is you can express solidarity with the importance and real work of creative artists of all kinds. The arts have to be made central, and then you have to look at, you could go to the schools. The whole integration, for example, of arts, sensibility and education, all of this. The President can do wonders if the President is really committed to it.
I also think that a President is going to champion the arts, certainly, and particularly at local and community level. very important for young people to be introduced to the arts at a very early age in schools, and that's promoted, and I would be delighted to travel around to schools and to promote the arts in that way.
Well, I think the President put through, for example, something along the lines of the Ungashka scheme to extend the arts, to encourage people to specialise in their Ungashka endeavours, to participate in the arts and make that a particular objective for young people. You swear to uphold the Constitution and the law and to pursue the welfare of the people. And the welfare of the people, in my view, strongly includes not just the art, but sports and things of that kind.
And I would look towards perhaps presenting something like a medal for philanthropy. So I think philanthropy is a space that we can tap into, and I think the President can do that very successfully, and I have done it very successfully in my own work with Special Olympics.
I have to say that I have a fundamental problem with the reliance on philanthropy, frankly. I think it's very good when people who have acquired enormous fortune decide to spend some of it in the public space. But I keep emphasising the importance of the public world. And that's more important in times of unemployment and no growth. The choice that Europe never faces, and that is this: we'll make provision for the arts when growth returns. Not good enough.
I would like to see the RS itself open up. I think there's an absolute opening to have art exhibitions on a rotating basis, and perhaps there's a competition in the colleges of art and design where they design clothing that that the First Lady or even the President wears. I do believe that there could be an annual event similar to what you often see the Queen presenting at. It could be a bit like an Ireland's Got Talent, but the President there, and effectively you're performing for the President and the people. And I do believe that there's an opportunity even to have a President's, like the Texaco Art Exhibition, where you have a President's exhibition that the President effectively gives the prize on behalf of the Irish people.
We have to encourage people to contribute as well. I think in the private sector, just as I had someone to fund the Impact Literary Award, I would be encouraging people to put their hands in their pockets and make a contribution, as well as asking the state to make a contribution.
I think it's a combination of funding. Yes, the government should provide some funding. I think the business, what we see through the business to arts, should get involved and provide funding at national and local and community level, but also the philanthropy that I talked about as well.
What we need is an intelligent state supporting creativity. And yes, we're in times of scarcity and shortage, but let's look at the things that are important. For example, child development. The cultural space is a legitimate matter for discussion as to its importance for creating social cohesion, for creating inclusion, for removing obstacles, and we should do that.
I'd like to see, not just looking back at 1916, I'd like to see looking forward our ambition of where we want Ireland to go. It's not about dying for Ireland, it's about living for Ireland. So what can you do to use your strengths, your skills, your ability to make an impact in your own life, your community, that will help build a better Ireland? And I think that's what we need to do. Talk about inclusiveness. We need to make sure that everybody can play a part using their strengths, individually, collectively, to build a new Ireland, rather than to looking back at the old.
A culture that is confident about itself and that is open is in fact going to attract other people to it. So let us do it with imagination and freedom. Say, free at last! That's what I would like to see being celebrated.